In the 7th lesson, we're gonna cover the logs and monitoring section. First of all, we're gonna talk about SDP in order to map the logs and monitoring section with the management layer inside the software-defined protection blueprint. Then we're gonna cover the logs and monitoring section itself in order to understand the role of each tab and section available in there. After that, we're gonna talk about smart events under the hood. We're gonna talk about deployment, architecture, and sizing. And whoops, what should I do if things goes wrong? In the end, we're summarizing everything with some hands-on labs. Do you remember SDP? In the first chapter, we're going to talk about mapping logs and monitoring section with the management layer inside the software-defined protection blueprint. One of the most important aspects of management is visibility of attacks for the enterprise. Management layer needs to provide visibility. Enterprise visibility allows the business to fight through attacks while maintaining acceptable levels of service by detecting, containing, and repelling cyber attacks, as well as support follow-up, investigation, recovery, and collaboration. In some organizations, what you see is only part of the network picture and what's going on in there. In other organizations, they will see everything, but they don't understand what they see because they get so much information. In R80 or in our next generation security management, it is showing organizations the full picture and informs them about real relevant threats as they occur, providing organizations visibility, allowing the business to fight through attacks as well as enabling them to follow up, investigate, and report. In the logs and monitoring chapter, we're going to go over the role of each tab and section available in there. So as mentioned earlier, the applications like Smart View Tracker, Smart Logs, Smart Event, Smart Reporter, and Compliance that was available as different types of applications has now been unified into one single location to make it simpler and more efficient to work with. With the next generation security management solution, logging are more tightly integrated than ever before. By default, the management server provides access to security and audit logs in the logs and monitoring view. As mentioned previously, logs are now tightly integrated with the policy rules so that you can access all logs associated with a specific rule by simply clicking on that rule inside the policy. Audit logs and security logs are nowadays indexed by using the Solar engine inside the management server. This makes it more efficient to search for specific log entries. Indexing provides quick search results and allowing us to search for information both in audit logs and security logs. So I can do free text searches, or I can, for example, if I want to, search inside a specific field. Doing a free text search on the name Microsoft, for example, are showing all the logs from all the different log servers, because we're indexing data from all the different log servers if we have a distributed environment that are related and have information containing the word Microsoft inside them in all the different fields. If I want to, I can filter out or search for specific fields. In this case, I'm searching within the action field, and then if the action is set to detect inside this field, and we have something related to Microsoft in any of these log entries, I would like to show that following result. I can do more advanced searches, so I can use and or operators. So in this case, I want to understand if, for example, we're targeted with vulnerable Word documents that are entering the organization because the security policy is set to detect mode for Microsoft Word documents. If I want to use the old and slow way of searching directly in non-indexed log files, is that possible? Yes, it is. When you have a distributed environment with multiple different log servers, they will be shown here as multiple different tabs, and you can select which log server you want to open files from. After that, you click on File, Open Log File, and you select the log file you want to open, and then you can search that log file in non-indexed mode. Please remember that searches might be a bit slow since the information is not indexed. What's new in Smart Events? The first thing is unified views. In previous versions, we used to have several multiple graphical user interface clients. In the next generation security management solution, the views are unified into the Smart Console client. The unified Smart Console user interface that allows you to manage the complete system. Smart logs, smart events, smart view tracker, and so on. All those different clients and views are now embedded and unified into Smart Console, where we will see this in a demo session. Fast analysis of big data. We improved the performance significantly. If you're familiar with NGSE, this is a similar concept. In previous releases like R77, we used to have a SQL database which had some limitations in terms of performance. We improved that significantly by using the Solar indexes, where it is similar to the concept we're using in the old smart log. We'll talk more about that in the next chapter when we're looking under the hood. One of the major requirements for customers in R77 was the ability to customize the reports. In the next generation security management solution, we allow customers to fully customize the reports based on their own needs and requirements. In order to use Smart Event, you need to activate the blade. You do that by opening your Smart Event object inside your management server and enabling the Smart Event and Smart Event Correlation Unit checkboxes. If you're doing this in a distributed environment, you should do a database install after you're done your changes. After enabling Smart Event and opening a new tab in the Logs and Monitoring section, the Smart Event catalog page is showing Smart Event views and reports. Views are basically one-pager, and the way you're working with them is the same way as you do when you're working with reports. The difference is that in reports, you have multiple different pages. You can fully customize each view and report, and you can save them as PDFs. If you deploy the Smart Event on a separate server, you will still have one unified view inside Smart Console. You do not need to connect separately to the Smart Event server. You just need to connect to the management server, and you will receive the reviews and reports from the Smart Event catalog inside this unified view. Number 2 has news about a new vulnerability in Word exploited by malicious Word documents, and want to know if Verticon Industries is exposed to this and if the current policy enforced to prevent these attacks or not. Which users were involved, trend along the time, and what countries the attack were coming from, and so on.
In order for number 2 to investigate this, he opens the Logs and Monitoring tab in R80. He clicks on a new tab in order to get to the Smart Event Catalog view. You can switch the views from thumbnails to table view to get a better overview. Now, in the Smart Event Catalog, we're showing information about the predefined views, the predefined reports, and also the custom created views and reports within Smart Event. In order for number 2 to investigate further, he opens the Threat Prevention view. This view is the overall threat prevention view, showing all the incidents being identified by the different security software blades on the different security gateways within the Verticon Industries organization. Now, in number 2's case, is specifically interested about malicious Word document exploiting vulnerabilities. So he do the free text search in the search bar, searching for doc that he wants to investigate further to get the relevant information he's interested in. So now we can indeed see that there actually are one incident here with 41 relevant log entries related to Word vulnerabilities. So we can also see that the action here is both detect and prevent. We can see how many gateways in the statistics were sending this information and detected this malicious document. And we can also see the trends in terms of activity timeline, which days we were receiving and identifying this malicious piece of Word documents. In order to get more information and investigate further, number 2 can drill down into this specific incident by double clicking. So all the different views are clickable to drill down and investigate further. So he opens the exploited document view, and inside this view you can see the number of prevented and detected incidents we have, the top sources, the top destinations, we have the top source and destination countries, where the attack came and were sent to. We also have the timeline trends, so we can see what the trends were for the attack, when were we receiving the attack, etc. In number 2's case, he was specifically interested about understanding if it were prevented, and we can see that currently there are some incidents are being detected, but also which users were involved or being targeted. So you can easily customize this report by, for example, just clicking edit, and then he can, let's take the top sources. He can either choose to just customize this widget or completely remove it and add a new widget. So in this case, we're going to customize it. So we're going to change top sources to top users instead, and we're going to change the category here to users. And we're going to decide to show top 10 users. So now we can see that actually Alan and Devin is being exposed to this document. We can change the view from, for example, bars to columns. And then if we're happy about this, we can very easily just save the changes inside this view. So we can click down to save them or click discard. So let's keep. Now, number 2 was specifically interested about detected incidents. And he wanted to, for example, generate a report and send to Dr. Evil, showing him that these are the users being exposed. So what we can do is that we can search for all the incidents related to Doc and this vulnerability based on action, and then we'll select detect. Now what will happen is that the views will filter out the events and only show the events that are relevant from my point of view right now. Directly from here, I can easily just click options, and then I can save this as a PDF. This will export it to a PDF document, allowing me to download it to my computer, and then I can easily show that and share it with, for example, Dr. Evil. So this is the PDF that we're getting generated directly from this view. So as you can see, all the views are customizable in the same way the reports are customizable, and you can generate as a PDF. If you're happy with this view and number 2 would like to share that with another organization so they can just import that to their system, they can just quickly select export here, and that view will be exported down as a definition file and can be later be imported into another R80 management solution. Now number 2 wants to get more information about the detected events. Why were those malicious Word documents not being prevented? So he has basically double clicks on the detected events view. That takes him to a further drill down where he can see the raw logs related to this incident. And then he can just open one of the raw logs log entries, and he can get more information on why, for example, this were being detected and not prevented. So in this case, you can see that it was waiting for emulation. We probably had background process for threat emulation blade, which means that we forward the file during the emulation process. Then number 2 can easily go and just change this rule in order to ensure that we proactively instead will block these kinds of documents. You can see here what the name of the document were. You can easily add and change and create exceptions based on this rule and log entries. You can customize the policy based on the information it's receiving by drilling down into the system. So this is the way you're working with Smart Event in order to get real relevant information from the system. So we start by the Smart Event catalog page. We drill down to the view that we are interested in. We will further filter out the information that are relevant for us. So for example, in this case, we'll further filter it out based on docs. And then once we receive that information, we can further drill down to that specific event. We can filter it based and change the views based on our needs. We can further drill down to get to the raw log data in order to make further investigations of the incident. So that's basically how you work with a Smart Event inside R80 in order to get real relevant incident information.
In R77 versions and earlier, we had report customization possibilities, but it was limited. Frafra Bessina is now asking what we mean with full views and report customizations.
Inside the catalog, we can select which components we basically would like to pick up. So we have the different views and the different reports. The difference, as I said, between these two are that views are single pages where reports are multiple pages. In each of them, you can fully customize the view and you can save the view as a PDF if you want to share that as a report. There's no need for the time-consuming procedure you had in the past where you needed to generate reports. That's not needed anymore. So this is the list of the predefined reports that we have. And this list can be dynamically updated from our cloud services, so new reports are automatically being added in here. You get a notification inside the unified smart console. Let's, for example, have a look at the general overview. So let's click on that view. In here, we have all the different widgets. We have the statistics, where you can see the different infographics with the large numbers, how many gateways, for example, that were reporting these kinds of incidents, critical attacks that were not prevented by the policy, and that is a very important information for administrators. So they need to focus on that and understand what to investigate. Why wasn't it prevented? And then we have the infographics showing us how many infected hosts we have currently within the organization that are having active bot communications. The widget with the software blades shows the activity by software blades, and that can basically be useful when doing, for example, troubleshooting in order to understand which blades are enabled in the organization and the systems, and to see if they're alive, to understand if there are more logs coming into these different blades. So for example, if you change the time to the last 24 hours or the last hours, you can make sure that there are logs being fed into the system, and you can understand that the system is alive and events are coming in. You have the timeline view that is showing the attack trends, and you also have the search bar. In the search bar, let's for example search for Microsoft. So as you see, the search automatically affects all components. So this is free text search that I'm using right now, and you can see the results are being provided very fast. It searches through all different components within the view. Also, we have drill down capabilities. So in any place we can take us to another view to get more information or get to the raw logs view. We can, for example, zoom in on the critical attacks types to see the critical attacks that were not prevented due to policy. So in here, I can customize this view to whatever I like to, or I can go on and drill down further if I want to explore, for example, this specific incident. If I do that, it will take me to the raw logs, and there I can get an understanding why, for example, those incidents were not prevented due to the policy. If I go back to the catalog, we have here the ability to create my own views and reports. I can create basically a new clean tab and are able to add widgets to that tab, customized basically in the way I want. I also have the ability to export and import those different views and reports to this or other systems. If we try to look at another view, so let's open the application and sites view. So here, as with all the different views, I have the option to open edit mode within this view to allow me to make changes. So if I, for example, would like to remove the blocked application widgets, I can do that, and then I can add another widget. Let's add a widget of type chart, and let's make that top users. Then we're going to use the category users, and we're going to change that to chart type bars. And let's add that. And then I can adjust the size of the widget accordingly to my needs and how I want the view to look like. So you can see this is very easy. You can customize the view to whatever you need. And you can also edit, for example, existing widgets based on the requirements that you have. And you can customize your own view to meet your needs, and you can, when you're happy with it, save it, or you can discard the changes by clicking discard. If you click done, the changes are being saved. So if you change a predefined view and you want to revert back to defaults, under the options you have the possibility to restore to the defaults. Then you're going to see the normal layout of the view again. In my view, I'm maybe interested in some specific information. Let's say that I want to search for user Fernando. What's happening is that I'm filtering this view based on my search query. What I can do here, if I want to share this information, is that I can easily just select to save this information as a PDF and then share that to my manager or wherever I need to share it within the organization. For views and report customization, we have a tutorial to help customers make this configuration. R&D have created this nice tutorial available as a web interface and a PDF. There's also links from the application itself to launch this tutorial. It makes it very easy for customers to understand how to customize the widgets. So for example, if you would like to customize a chart, you basically have a 1, 2, 3 step, and below you have the information about the most important filters to fill in. It explains exactly what you need to do. There are more explanations about filters and searches. If I go back to the Applications and Sites tab, we're going to talk a little bit about filters. As you know, we have the filter in the search bar, as we talked about earlier, but we also have something called View Filters. In the View Filters, you have the fields that you look at, you have the equals, and then you can select whatever you want to match. So the difference between the View Filters and search bar is that after you click OK, inside here when you made a change, this is saved for this view, and the search bar is only for one time. In edit mode, we are also having the possibility to filter per widget. So you can take a specific widget and filter based on that. So let's talk a little bit about reports. So let's see an example of a report. In the catalog, I have a list of predefined reports. So let's look at threat prevention reports. So let's open that. So basically it looks the same as views, but the difference is that it has multiple pages. It will take a little bit longer to load the report since it needs to get all the information from all the different pages. You can see the pages and you can scroll similar to what you can do in PowerPoint. You can scroll to a specific page to see exactly the same view as it looks like in views. It has the edit option, and you also have the save as PDF. You define your own view if you want to make any customizations, for example a filter, or look at a specific time frame. You can change that and then you can save it as a PDF to get it as a report. So let's scroll down to something in this report called Server Incidents Table. So as you can see, when looking at the server incident table, it indicates that it's multiple pages here while it's only one page here. If I click on the server indicates table, you can see in this table we have the option to let it run over several pages. And you can see and set that by clicking the view settings. And when you, for example, define a table, you can in here allow it to be split over multiple pages when saving the view or the report as a PDF. So for example, if you would like to see the user activity table that contains many lines and do not want it to end up on just one page, this is the way to configure it so it will be split over multiple pages when generating it as a report. Concerning report filters, for the report filters we have three types of filters. You have the view filter for this specific page. We have the widget filter to filter the specific information inside the widget on that page. And we also have the report filter that filters the information for the complete report itself. So it applies to the whole report. So as you see, we can do full customization of the solution and we can make changes in views and in reports. We don't need to go through the long cumbersome process of generating report. You can basically just go here and select save as PDF, and this report is being saved as a PDF. So this gives us a full customization of the smart event views and reports options. So let's open this one and we can see that we're getting the report as a PDF in our view here. So that's basically it. It's very easy to customize the different views and the different reports inside Smart Event. And then if I made a mistake, I can easily restore that to the defaults.
If you want to know more, R&D has created this nice 1, 2, 3 step tutorial explaining how to create and customize the views and report using different widgets. Dr. Evil thinks this is all great, all these customization capabilities, but he does not want to use a fat computer in order to get the current situation of vertical industries. He wants to use his tablet to understand what the current situation is right now and what they are targeted with.
Within Smart Event, We also have web access. It's the web application that lets you connect remotely. To access this, you write the IP address of the management or the smart event server, followed by /smartview. You basically enter your credentials in order to log in. So this is actually the same view as we saw in Smart Console, where we have all the capabilities directly in here from the web interface. In the same view, you can click on, for example, the plus to open a new tab to get into the SmartView catalog. And here you'd have the different views with the different reports. You can open a report, you can generate a PDF, you can customize your views, you can customize your reports from this place. You have all different capabilities. The only difference is the logs view. Currently, the logs view looks a little bit different in comparison to what you have in the Unified Smart Console today. So inside the logs view, you can currently right now not open the logs card, but you will see the same information in the bottom of this view. If we go to the general overview, we can work in the same way as we do in the Unified Smart Console. So we can drill down and click on the critical attack types to get more information. We can, if you would like to, filter this view in the same view. We can save it as a PDF. We can search for example, Microsoft, and we can then get detailed information about attacks targeted to Microsoft vulnerabilities. The web-based Smart Event View provides us the same information as we can get with a fat computer, but from basically any device, a tablet, a phone, etc.
Let's dig a bit deeper and look at Smart Event under the hood. We're going to talk about deployment, architecture, and some sizing. So inside Smart Event, there are some changes and limitations that need to be addressed. Smart Reporter capabilities are nowadays integrated into Smart Event. Network activity reports are based on firewall sessions, and in order to generate those, you need to activate that manually in the Smart Event policy. For multi-domain environment, Smart Event can only be installed on a dedicated server. It cannot run on the MDS or the multi-domain log server. So it can only be defined in the global view. You can't define a Smart Event server on the local domain view. But once you define it on the global view, you can assign it to the domains it should analyze logs from. These are the components in the Smart Event architecture. The CheckPoint gateway sends logs to the log server. The log server receives logs from the CheckPoint gateways and third-party devices in, for example, syslog format. The syslog format is normalized into CheckPoint log format. Correlation unit reads logs from the log server and analyzes them to find an event match according to the definition in the event policy. The event is forwarded to the Smart Event server to be indexed. At the same time, logs are forwarded to the Smart Event servers to index all but firewall and VPN logs. Firewall and VPN logs are about 95% of the logs, so only 5% of the logs, the interesting ones, the ones that are coming from places like IPS, API, anti-bot, antivirus, and so on, are automatically indexed in Smart Event. Smart Console sends queries to the Smart Event server and presents the result graphically showed in a unified view. The following components can reside on the same server. Multiple log servers and correlation units can be deployed in order to create a distributed environment to scale out. In this environment, the management server and log server need to be on the same version. The correlation unit and the Smart Event server needs to be on the same version. So you can have a higher version of the Smart Event server and the correlation unit. Those can, for example, be R80 versions, while your management and log servers can be R77.30 versions. The correlation unit will connect using LIA to the log servers. This is a table for R80 on a dedicated server, not running unified on a management. It's on a dedicated Smart Event server. The SK in this table is for R80. This SK has not been published yet, so please use the NGSE numbers and the secure knowledge article for NGSE for now when doing sizing. You have the models of the Smart One on the first line. If you use an open server, you have the equivalent hardware specs on the second line. The important line here is the events per day. We have a tool called CP Log Investigator tool. This is available in the R80 Security Management for Smart Event installation or on a log server. So don't download the tool for NGSC. You should run the tool that is already integrated inside the R80 server. You run this tool against the log file, so it's best to run it over multiple log files to get the best accurate result. And in the end, it will print an estimation on estimated events per day based on the activated blades. You need to compare the number you get with the number of events per day inside this slide or the NGSC sizing table on the Secure Knowledge article. So in this case, the recommended Smart 1 appliances for Smart Event to use, since the CP Log Investigator states that we have around 1.4 million events per day based on the active blades, then the recommended server to use would be a 3050 that can handle around 4 million events per day. If we would have 900,000 events per day, that would be pretty close to what the 225 can handle. Even though this would be possible, I would recommend to offer the next level of appliance, since offering a 225 with 900,000 events per day wouldn't really be future-proof, because most probably the customer's amount of events will increase in, for example, a 3-year time period or 5-year time period, depending on how long they plan to have that appliance in their environment. So since the event number in the table is the maximum for each appliance, if CP Log Investigator results shows that you are close to the maximum, it is recommended to choose the next level of appliance. If you don't have the ability to run this tool, or the customer does not have the activated blade yet, you can refer to the two lines in the middle, logs per day and number of users. And that can give you some estimations about what appliance to use. For best and correct results, you should use the CP Log Investigator tool and just refer to the line in the bottom. In the Smart Event Graphical User Interface client, in the link with the status overview, you have this table after the customer deployed the Smart Event server. If the customer complains that the server is loaded, you can check here if it complies with the guidelines or not. If it does not comply, you normally just need to increase the amount of RAM that you have inside the Smart Event server. Whoops, what to do when things go wrong? This is the command you need to remember when opening an attack case. It collects and unifies all the relevant debug files into one TGset archive. This is very helpful for attack when investigating the issue. In addition to the debug files, it includes the journal files and also the status of the machine, like CPU, memory, disk, machine status, in a file called env_test_output.txt that is included in the archive. Another option, if you want to have more details from the debug files and get more debug prints, turn on the debug flag for processes using the Smart Event set debug level command. So in order to get more debug, the steps would be turn on the debug prints by the Smart Event set debug level command, reproduce the problem, run the Smart Event collect logs to collect all the debug log files, now containing more granular prints, and then send them to Technical Assistance Center for further troubleshooting. So this is an example of the output you will see when running the Smart Event collect logs command, where we're including the system statics and sending the archive to the var log directory. The collection of all the debug files will be stored in the all smart event out.tgset archive file. So where is compliance and how is it activated? How is it used inside the next generation security management solution? Compliance Blade, as you maybe remember, provides security best practices for security administrators on how they should configure the CheckPoint security environment. To activate the Compliance Blade view, enable Compliance Software Blade on the management server itself. Publish the changes, and then afterwards this will provide a new view under logs and monitoring called Compliance View. Inside the compliance view, we can get the compliance status according to different regulations. We can see how we meet different security best practices and what the different actions and items are that we need to handle within that environment. If I want to, I can also create my own security best practices for firewall rules. So for example, I can ensure that administrator is not creating a firewall rule from, for example, any source to a specific destination with sensitive servers. I can also, if I want to, create my own regulations that I need to comply with, and I can deactivate the regulations that are not relevant for me. Let's start a lab pronto to get some hands-on experience. On Lab 5, Smart Event Lab, we're going to identify threats, we're going to create custom reports, and we're going to generate a security checkup. So in this lab, you will provide a PDF to number 2 by customizing the threat prevention view to show the user that are exposed to the new Word file vulnerability, targeting Verticon Industries, and export that view as a PDF. Then you're going to create a new report for Frau Frabesina. You're going to add a mass view of all incidents targeted towards Verticon Industries. Add a timeline view on the same page showing the attack trends of the detected and prevented attack. Export your report definition as a file to be able to reuse and import in other customer environments. In the third and last lab of the Smart Event Labs, you're going to create a security checkup report for the Verticon Industries so they can get an overview of what's actually going on within the organization. You're going to save this report as a PDF to be shared with Dr. Evil. The detailed instructions is available on the Google Drive. Please remember this is a lowercase l. Good luck.